Hey guys, welcome back. Now, anonymous crypto analyst PlanB is well known in the crypto community as the creator of the stock-to-flow model. Coming from the world of traditional finance and with almost 2 million followers on X, he maintains his anonymity with his famous laser eyes cap. Now, stock-to-flow has historically been a useful chart to use, and since then he's created a number of other useful charts. And so in this video, we'll be covering what is stock-to-flow showing right now, and where does it think Bitcoin's price will be by the halving in April time next year. Then his new trading rule, which shows exactly when to get in and out of the crypto market for maximum returns. And if there ever was a holy grail to crypto, then that would be it. Then we'll look at his chart, which makes it very simple to see where we are in the market cycle. And then we'll finish up with his big price prediction for this up and coming bull market. And spoiler, it is a big one. Okay, so lots of really useful stuff to cover, and as I haven't covered stock-to-flow for a while, let's do a quick refresher and see where it thinks prices will be going next. And so, beginning with the famous stock-to-flow model. And this one for me has been a very useful chart, as it's a very clear picture of the market cycles that have been happening in Bitcoin pretty much every 4 years since inception. And stock-to-flow basically divides the stock, which is the supply, by the flow, which is the new Bitcoin being created each year. And because there is a halving which cuts the new supply in half, this is why the average, so this light blue line is the stock-to-flow model, and why it's increasing over time, as it's centered around the halving. And you'll notice all these different colors, and it's all color coordinated, and all this is how many days until the next halving. So as you can see, it starts from the red, it works through to greens and yellows, and once it goes to the deep blue, then this is the halving. So we have a halving here through the red, the yellows and the greens, and then once it gets to the deep blue, this is your halving. Same thing again here, and then this is your halving. And then as you'll notice, right now we're now starting to get to this deep blue again, with the halving being about April time next year. And because the new supply is getting cut in half, this is what takes Bitcoin and the entire crypto market another leg higher, and why we get these crazy big bull markets. So PlanB's prediction is that by the time of the halving, what normally happens is that it inches back up to the average. So obviously when prices go above, this is going way above average into overbought, normally crashes down to the average and then comes under. So again here, by the time of the halving, it had met the average and actually exceeded it here. The time of the halving, again, it's caught back up to the stock-to-flow average. And then here, this time, as I've mentioned before, is probably the worst crypto winter and bear market that we've had so far. Definitely the largest deviation away from the average. And his prediction is that we're going to be catching back up to the average. And this means by the time of the halving next year, he thinks it's going to be around $60,000. And for the best altcoins, they certainly could be doubling from here. Now, stock-to-flow has been a bit controversial, as because in the last cycle, Bitcoin didn't actually get to the $100,000 level, a lot of people were claiming that stock-to-flow is dead, or it's invalidated, or it doesn't work. But we have to remember, stock-to-flow is just an average, and people can buy way above average, and people can crash the price way below the average. So for me, stock-to-flow is not dead, and it certainly depends on what's going to happen over the next year. Now, moving on to If there ever was a holy grail in crypto, it would be to know exactly when to get in and out of the market. So next up is PlanB's trading rule. And this is one of the latest charts that he's developed. And his trading rule basically says that if you buy your Bitcoin or crypto 6 months before the halving and then sell it 18 months after the halving, this is one of the best things you can do. And this would beat the people that are just buying and holding. It also beats the people that are just dollar cost averaging. And this is how it works. So this is his trading rule here, this pink line. And this is when you'd get into the market. You'd obviously ride the bull market, make all the gains, and then it works out. This is when you would sell. You would skip out this massive crypto winter and you'd be buying back in here, just ready to ride the gains, the epic runs again. The trading rule would get you out of the market here, and again you would skip this nasty crypto winter. You'd be buying back in here just in time, a bit of volatility before the next big run higher. You'd be out of the market here, timing the market absolutely perfect here, and you'd be getting in here. And this one, 6 months before the halving, works out to last month. So right now, as from last month, you'd be back into the market. Now, because this is such an important part of crypto, of knowing when to get in and when to get out, I did take a look at this and do a full video on it myself. You can find that on my channel page. But some of the highlights were, I found that actually the very, very best time to buy, hypothetically, would be at the very bottom of the crashes. So obviously this is the very best time to buy. And I found this worked out to be about 12 months before the halving. So if you buy 12 months before the halving, you're buying at the absolute market bottom. And then I found that 2 of the 3 times, 18 months was definitely the best time, as you're picking the market top perfectly. However, on one of the occasions, selling at 12 months was the actual peak. So twice it was 18 months and once it was 12. So a lower risk strategy would be to sell 12 months before, because one of the times you would have been burnt. So essentially those were my findings, and I myself will be looking to sell about 12 months after the halving, so more April 2025. So that's just my 2 satoshis on that. Next up, is there a simple way to see where we are in the market cycle? So here we are again, and this time we've got a different color coordination. And this is his new market cycle model, split into 4 phases. And this is what he calls them over here. So here we have the bull market, the pre-bear market, the bear market, and the pre-bull market. So bull market, pre-bear market, bear market, and pre-bull market. But I actually think better terminology would be the big bull market, then distribution phase, then capitulation, and then accumulation. So the bull market, distribution, which is selling, capitulation, which is the big flush out, and then accumulation, ready for the bull market. And right now we are in the accumulation stage. However, as we saw from the last chart, the very, very best time to buy is in capitulation, in maximum pain. This is when everyone is getting burnt, they've lost a lot of money, and they actually don't want to hear anything about crypto. And when people are saying that actually this is the time to buy right now, the emotion you're going to get is anger and resentment. And this is why it's so difficult to buy in capitulation. And even though I've been through 2 full market cycles myself, I've still not been able to buy in capitulation, as it's very, very difficult emotionally. And this time around, I made quite a lot of buys in accumulation, recently being all in. Okay, and to finish up, where does PlanB think Bitcoin is going in this next big bull market? So back to stock to flow, and this is where we're at right now, and he thinks we're going to be climbing back up to this $60,000 mark, and then obviously we've got some epic moves coming. So what is his big price prediction? Well, drum roll please. It is a huge $532,000 Bitcoin. And for me, this is a massive price prediction, especially when it's just the next 2 years. So that would be a 12 times increase from today's price. Now, just so we know that this is exactly what he is predicting, if you go to his last video where this was covered, then he's actually even wrote it in the video title, $532,000 Bitcoin. Now, just to add in my 2 Satoshis on this, going to one of my favorite charts in crypto, the cycle bottom, which shows the 3 big bull markets that have happened so far. And what you'll notice is that in the very, very first one, when Bitcoin was like $1, this went on to do over a 200x. In fact, it was a 300x. Now, as an asset gets bigger, it gets harder to double, which is why we get these diminishing returns. In the next cycle, Bitcoin crossed over 100x down from 200. Then the last one that we just happened went down to just a 20x. And this is why I'm personally looking at this latest market cycle to be topping out probably around the 10x. However, going on PlanB's latest price prediction, this would put it about here. From the cycle bottom to top, it's a 33x, a 33 times increase. So this would break the diminishing return model. And this is why I think this is a very high price prediction and not consistent with what has been happening. So 2 final points to say. The first one is that in this last big bull market, you have to remember this was after the big COVID crash, and the central banks stepped in and printed an absolute unprecedented amount of money. So we had huge liquidity coming into the market, and people were literally paid to stay at home. We had near 0% interest rates, so huge headwinds, huge liquidity, and it still went on to do a 20x. This time around, interest rates right now in the US are around 5%, historically very, very high, and the Fed is tightening, so liquidity is going down. So this time we have a lot of headwinds. It's the opposite. So if this is what happens with tailwinds, I personally find it really hard with headwinds to get to fly right past this to a 33 times increase. And final point, if your portfolio is only 10 or 20% allocated to crypto and you plan on holding for the long term, then there's probably no issue with seeing if it can get that high. However, someone like myself who is 100% allocated, this would be classed as very, very high risk waiting for these prices. So I personally won't be holding on for a $500,000 Bitcoin. However, everyone's situation is different and you must do what is right for you. Anonymous crypto trader PlanB is well known for creating the stock to flow model. Stock to flow is predicting by the next Bitcoin halving April next year, the Bitcoin price will be around $60,000, another 40% higher than it is today. His new trading rule says the best thing we can do is to buy our Bitcoin or crypto 6 months before the halving and then sell it 18 months after, and this time that works out to be October 2025. And this would beat the simple buy and hold and dollar cost averaging strategies. And his big price prediction for this cycle top in 2025 is a huge $532,000 Bitcoin, which would be a 30x increase from the cycle bottom to cycle top, meaning we break the diminishing returns pattern. Now, for someone like myself who is 100% allocated to crypto, I certainly will not be holding that long. However, if you follow his new trading rule and exit 18 months after the halving, then you'd be out of the market anyway at whatever price that was. So bring on a $500,000 Bitcoin. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Now tell me, what do you think about this huge price prediction from PlanB? Let me know below. However, just remember to get rid of 100% of the comment spam and trading bots that plague YouTube comments. We are trying out the new SuperThanks Commenting system. So to get your question or comment read and replied to, or just to say thanks, then use SuperThanks below. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.